Welcome to the Spirit of a Badass, where we celebrate stories of courage, hope, and resiliency. I'm your host, Alecia Jacobson.
Hello, my badasses. I would like to start today by saying thank you. I have recently gotten a lot of messages from people how they are really enjoying the podcast and sharing the podcast and just how it's kind of impacting their mental health specifically. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's how we grow, and it's kind of fuel for me to keep at it and keep going. So thank you to everyone who has reached out. And if you are loving this podcast, I would appreciate if you shared it or give a review on Spotify, Apple. You can do a review or you can do the stars. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. We are in the inauguration week. And if you have been listening, I have gone through so many emotions and feelings, and just I have been angry. And now I have moved to a different space. I am kind of consuming at the rate I was consuming. I kind of talked about, how to protect your peace. And now I can do that. And I feel like I'm at a place of peace. And I still have anger. I went to boxing this morning and I told my instructor as I was leaving, I was like, thanks, just saving lives every day because I'm out here taking my anger out. And that is really helpful for me to protect my peace, is to go get this kind of angry energy because it comes in waves, and to be able to have a physical space to be able to do that. Between that and music, that is where I let out anything that is inside me that is probably not good to stay housed in my body. So today this is where I'm going today, kind of what next. And part of my goal right now just in life is creating community. It is listening. It is bringing people together who think differently, because I really just think that we're going to be entering a space, an era, a time that none of us really can comprehend what is coming. And if we can set ourselves up as good as possible, I think that's going to be helpful. So that is what we're going to talk about today. I tell my kids something. Well, first, I've always, you hear people and they're like, yeah, my grandma always used to say, and it's this like really impactful, moving thing. I am like, nobody's ever going to look back and be like, oh, my mom always said, or Alicia always said. And that has made me like, I need a thing. And I remembered, I actually do. I have a thing that I have said to my kids throughout the years. And it's, if you can, you do. If you can, you do. And where this shows up in our lives is a lot of time through just taking care of other people. If you see something happening in your school, if you can, you do. If something shitty is happening, where I've had, my kids either stick up for other kids or call attention to something, just in general, if you can, you do. This goes for people posting GoFundMes. My kind of feeling on that is, if you can, you do. If it calls to you, obviously. But putting your resources in places that need them. And sometimes you can't, and that's okay. There are situations where you maybe can't, because maybe you would also put yourself in a dangerous situation. Sometimes you'd either financially can't, you have different resources. You can't with your time, you have no bandwidth, or it is maybe not safe for you to do that. But if all of those things are not really factoring in, my motto is, if you can, you do. And that's where I'm showing up today, because I really feel like I can. And so I go forth and I will do. So today, that is kind of the theme. And I have 10 actions that you can take with you and start practicing. The first one, and this is essentially, obviously I'm talking about this new administration, I believe it's going to go beyond the next 4 years. And one of my goals right now is not to be one of the people that causes anxiety with information, but more somebody I'm going to take in the anxiety producing information. And my goal is then to synthesize it and output it in a way that is actionable and empowers people who can to go and do. That is my goal here. So the first one is learning to keep your peace and ground yourself. And when I've already done a podcast on keeping your peace, you can go back and listen to that one. But if you are giving your energy to people, places, and things that you're kind of spinning out or burning out, you are not going to have energy for the things that you need. And in this time, to be able to practice that, to be able to ground yourself. And by grounding yourself, I mean, if you're spinning out in your head, to be able to come to center and breathe and remember what's fucking important. And keeping your internal peace happens when you're keeping your external peace. So that's why I'm saying my message here is not going to be the kind of anxiety producing message. I can go out and get that. I'm practicing. Sometimes I let it, and sometimes it gets to me, but I am practicing keeping my internal peace, keeping grounded so that I can go out into the world and deliver a message that hopefully inspires people to go out and do what they can. Different ways that you can do this. Go listen to the podcast on protecting your peace, but meditation, exercise. I just got done saying I had my boxing class. That protects my peace because you have this anxious, angry, nervous energy inside of you. And this can come from anything. This doesn't just have to come from this kind of new era that we are entering now. This can come from anything. And to be able to physically move that out of your body is so important. You can do kind of brushing your skin off, dancing, shaking, anything to kind of physically shake that energy out. Meditation, breath work is a great one. And again, I feel like I will keep repeating this. When people think of meditation, a lot of times people won't do it because they think I've done that before. It doesn't work for me. Meditation does not have to be complicated. Meditation can be simply being focused on where you are and breathing for a minute, 60 seconds, just focusing on your breath. It doesn't have to be a complicated thing that you go do on a rock someplace overlooking the ocean. It doesn't have to be complicated. There's tons of apps. My favorite app is Insight Timer. There's a bazillion free ones on there. I recommend listening to the voices because sometimes the voices will drive me a little bit batty and then I am not keeping my peace. There's different, you can pick between like 2 minutes and over an hour. Pick something that you like and just try it. Just practice it. Keep it as simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate it. And then choosing your people. Surround yourself with people who add to your peace. Now, this doesn't mean surround yourself with people that are all the same as you. I really think it is important that we continue to make those connections and be around people who think differently. Now, sometimes, like I said, if you can, you do. If you can't right now, because there's maybe too much anger in you, totally understandable. Everybody is in a different place. But if you can, you do. Continue to have conversations. Continue to make those connections. I really think that right now, creating that community and connection is so fucking important. Mind your peace. Okay. Number 2, choosing community over chaos. I'm recording this on a Thursday. There has been so much chaos already this week that I have encountered on social media, mostly. Not really. I would say the chaos that I'm feeling kind of inside of me happens when I start kind of being concerned with other people, meaning I want to take care of other people. I kind of feel a little bit chaotic. But knowing that if we get sucked into the chaos, you cannot be in peace, you cannot be in community when you are being sucked into the chaos. It steals it from you. So be very mindful of the chaotic energy and choose the community that you want to be in. Something that I'm kind of turning over in my head now is creating community and what that looks like out in the world, like actually in person, which is terrifying to me because I don't really like doing things in person out in the world. I can't even speak now when I'm thinking about it. But I think the importance of it now has to be bigger than my need to hibernate in my home and not go out and talk to people. So I'm really trying to get involved. And part of that involvement, something that we're going to start here on the podcast, is a short kind of introduction to different ways to get involved in your community, different organizations. I've reached out to many different people that I'm going to start sharing with you in ways that they get involved, in ways that you can get involved within your community. Because when you feel connected, it is so much easier to not let yourself get sucked in to shit that doesn't matter. Because if you're in chaos, if you think of when your life is in chaos, you're not really making an impact. You can't really make forward progress when everything is falling to shit. So you have to remain in that grounded state as best as you can, as often as you can. And I really think a part of that is being in community and choosing community over the chaotic energy of division. The third one, remembering what matters and stay fucking focused on it. Distraction is a tool. Do not get sucked in. It will drain your energy from what is truly important. Remembering to you what matters. And if you're like me right now, I feel like everything matters. I mean, my focus in life has always been women and families. Children has been a big one. And a lot of the volunteer work that I have done has been around single mothers, things like that. But now I feel like I'm being pulled in all these different directions. But when I kind of synthesize it down, I keep coming back to the community and making connections. And if you know me, and I've spoken about this on pretty much all platforms, I am an angry person. I have a lot of fire and pissed offness in my fucking body. But what really matters to me right now is creating community. And I cannot create community with different people if I am an angry fucking version of myself, because she's mean. She is so mean. And that's not going to be helpful right now. It is not going to be helpful to embody that version of myself. And if you are there, no shade at all. But for me, what really matters is creating a sense of community for other people right now and being a leader in that, being a light and showing that this can happen. We can. But if we're getting sucked in to that chaos, that distraction, because it feels there's a lot of wild shit that we can go down these rabbit holes on. But if we're too busy getting sucked in to the distractions and the chaos, we can't stay focused. And right now, more than ever, our focus needs to be kept. Number 4, stay true to your morals and values. And if you've noticed, these are kind of all connected, because truly in my soul, my values are the humanness, the people. And then also go fuck yourself. But I can't have a go fuck yourself attitude. Like truly, I can't. That is in stark opposition to my values. But I feel like sometimes that angry teenager in me is like, girl, sit back. I got this. But I have evolved. I have grown from her. She's still there if I need to pull her out. But if I'm staying true to my morals and values, that means I am speaking up. That means I'm using my voice to do what I think needs to be done, what needs to be said. That means that even if shit is hard, I will show up. It means that if I can, I do. If people need to be supported and taken care of, if somebody can't use their voice because they're being silenced out of fear, that means that is where I step up. Now, that doesn't mean that's where you step up. That might not be who you are at your core, and that's okay. But we all have a core value, something that is important to us. And that has always been my core value. Way back to when I was in high school, I spent a lot of my time working with my peers that had Down syndrome. Not working. I went in and just spent time with them. I wasn't doing any, like I was just hanging out with them. And I just remember sometimes walking through halls and kids were assholes. And I would just fucking say something. I didn't fucking care. Like, shut the fuck up. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, that is just at my core. I am a shut the fuck up. Like, you can't mistreat humans. It's not okay. And so for me, staying true to my core, my values, even if it's fucking difficult, and making sure that I am using that and going out into the world. Yours might be, it might not be your voice, like writing, that is using a voice. There's all different ways that whatever your core values are, that you look at the world through that lens. And how can you show up in the world through that lens and not get distracted and pulled in by shit that you shouldn't be getting distracted by. Number 5, do not sit by quietly. If you do not speak, when you are able to speak, then it allows things to happen that shouldn't be happening. And this is a time where if you can, you do. If you are in a space that you are able to speak up for injustices, if you are able to share a message, if you are able to make connections, create conversations, be in a conversation and say, no, that, like, I don't agree with that, especially if shit's bad. Now, I know that some people will not have that ability, but if you can, you do. And sitting by and having this kind of idea of, well, that's not me. It's not happening to me. It's not happening to you yet. It hasn't happened to somebody you know yet. Use the tools you have. Stand up for those morals and values. Speak them. Number 6, use your skills and gifts for good. Again, like I said, these are all connected. We all have different skills, different talents, and using that for good in the world is so needed right now. Whatever your skill and talent is, using that for good. Perhaps you're a creative and you're a writer, or you make art. Bringing those talents into the world. Maybe you're really fucking funny. Allowing people to laugh and bringing your humor into the world, but not kind of hiding those or dimming that because there is ickness out there. Whatever you have inside of you that makes you shiny and sparkly, let that fucking shit shine. Number 7, this is one that kind of makes me a little sick to my stomach just saying, but this is also kind of the foundation of this podcast, is remembering that tearing down and destruction gives way for rebuilding. And I say this and knowing that that's why it makes me want to throw up, because I have a very sliver of a meaning what tearing down and destruction could be. But I also think that there are so many things that are not going well, that things need to crumble in order to be rebuilt in a better way. I don't know what that looks like, but it does allow me to have some hope in the midst of destruction. Because if we all look at our lives and the things that have gone to fucking shit, generally on the other side of that, we have learned lessons. We have become stronger. We rebuild in a way that we're like, fuck yeah. One of the podcasts I did recently called The Essence of a Badass. is much like that. And things get dark. And then you learn the lesson and you come out stronger. And my hope is that whatever the fuck happens, lessons are learned that need to be learned. And that there is rebuilding of systems and structures that truly support the humanness. Now, I don't want that destruction. It's not like people go out. Well, some people go out, but that's not what I'm speaking about. Looking for destruction. But if it is going to happen, then holding on to hope of rebuilding and learning from that in order to take those lessons into the rebuilding is something that gives me the ability to sort of stay the course and have hope. Number 8, this one contradicts itself. Be kind and also stop being so fucking nice. I think kindness and niceness are two very different things. When I think of kindness, I think of showing up for people. I think of having a genuine care and compassion for those around you, for those people who are in different situations than you, who have different lives than you, being compassionate and kind to them. When I think of niceness, it almost feels disingenuous to me. It feels like kind of shutting up and not saying anything in order to keep the peace and be nice. Now, I know that I already said peace, but I think also there is a learned niceness, and that needs to be dismantled in order to have a voice. You can still be kind, but the forced niceness leads to sitting back and saying nothing because you don't want to be not nice. So be kind and stop being so fucking nice. Number 9, do not hate and do not divide. To me, this is connected to that kind of chaos and distraction. Because if we're hating, if we're feeling that hate and division, the them, the us, the we're not like them, we're better than them, we would never do that, then we are not connected. We are unable to see other perspectives. We are unable to move forward as united. And I think now more than ever, people need to unite. There needs to be a looking at what we have in common, how we can work together, versus hating people and being divided for how we're different. Because I really, my thought is we don't even know the shit that's going to go down. And if we're contributing to this energetic hate and division, then we're only contributing to the shit going down in a shittier way. Now, again, I said, if you can, you do. You might not be there yet. There are a lot of still raging, pissed off people that are just like, no. And that, again, that's okay. This is just my point of view. There are some people that are very justified in how they're feeling. And that is okay where you are. But if you're listening and you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah, that's right. That's who I'm speaking to. Try to calm the chaos. Find your grounding. Find your center. Choose the community. And really try not to divide and fall into that trap of hate. Number 10, this is the lightest one. Love. Choose joy, laughter, and have fun. By you doing that, by you choosing to be in laughter and enjoy and doing things that bring you joy, you are allowing other people to do the same. You are your most sparkly, energetic, beautiful version of yourself, and that will be contagious. One of the things that I have been struggling with is kind of getting sucked in and having that energy overtake me. And that is one of my goals for this year, is not getting sucked in by the despair, the trauma, being able to witness it and not have it completely take over my body. I can still feel and I can still be in joy. I can still have laughter. I can still create opportunities for those experiences in my life and in other people's lives. So we have some real serious shit we need to tend to. And at the same time, we have to be in joy. We have to do things that bring happiness and love and all of the goodness. So whatever that is for you, it could be a creative energy. Whatever that is, go out and create that. Bring that into the world. Show the world. That will spread. That is contagious. That is needed. All right. That's what I have for you. I hope that this was helpful. This is sort of like a grab bag. Some of them may not apply to you at all. Some of them may be like, fuck that shit. I am not there yet. But I really think that I've been trying to take in all this information and just boil it down to what do I think is going to be most helpful for me and for other people. And this may change. Who knows? I feel like I came on here 2 months ago and I was just broken and sad and angry. And I think, if you listen to my New Year's episode, I've been feeling very energized. My word is ready. I am ready. I don't know what that is yet, but I feel like I am walking into it. I am ready. I'm ready to use my voice in a new way. I am ready to support people in new ways. I'm ready to create a community outside of an online version of the communities that I already created, a actual in-person community of people. I'm ready to help you find community and find places where you can put your talents and energies into. That's all I got. If you liked it, loved it, share it, please. Leave a review, whatever socials you're on. I did decide to stay on the Meta platforms, so you can still find me there, and I'm going to be sharing my message of community all the motherfucking time. All right, badasses. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Cheri has been the Executive Director of Community Shares of Wisconsin for 8 years. Community Shares of Wisconsin has strengthened and supported the local social and environmental justice movement for over 50 years. Its member nonprofits are on the front lines in Dane County and throughout Wisconsin to protect our rights and build a safe and sustainable future for all of us. Welcome, Cheri.
Hi, Alecia. Thank you.
Let's get right to it. Tell us about Community Shares.
Sure. Community Shares of Wisconsin, we are what is called a federated fundraising organization. We were formed over 50 years ago, and our purpose is to represent close to 70 nonprofits who are all working toward social and environmental justice. And our job for them, on behalf of them, is to bring them together through a variety of different collaborative fundraising opportunities. One that people may know about us most is through workplace giving, but I'm here today to tell you specifically about the Big Share. This is an online giving day that we've been hosting now. This will be our 11th year, and it's always on the first Tuesday of the month. You can learn more at thebigshare.org. And this is an online giving day focused here in Madison, Dane County area. There are some statewide groups as well. And this is an opportunity for the community to come together and demonstrate their support for the issues that we care about.
Yeah. And what date is this? You said the first Tuesday. Is this March?
Yes, Tuesday, March 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the nonprofits that benefit from you doing the Big Share.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a variety of different cause areas that we cover. We have groups working on advocating for women, children, and families, like end domestic abuse. And we have groups working on advocating for housing issues, such as Fair Housing Center and Tenant Resource Center. We have groups that are advocating for civil rights, like the ACLU. And we have a long list of groups working on environmental issues and working on controlling some of the climate change that is taking place. So groups like Clean Wisconsin, Sierra Club, etc. So a lot of great groups, some groups that you'll know. And if you look on our website, you might see some new groups that you haven't heard of before.
Okay. So the goal that I have for this kind of segment in the podcast is for people to be able to get involved in their community. So who is the kind of person that would get involved with the Big Share? Tell us about that. Like, what happens for a person to get involved?
Well, one of the great things about the Big Share is it's an online giving day. And I know I'm a mom. I have a career. I work at Community Shares, the organization I'm talking about. And up until a couple months ago, I had an aging mother that I was taking care of and, volunteering at school, all the other things that we're all involved in. And so it's really hard, especially in these stressful times, to find the energy to support causes that we care about and to feel like you can find a way to make a difference. And so one of the great things about the Big Share, like I said, this is just one opportunity to support our groups, is that it's all online and it takes just a few minutes to either look for a nonprofit that you would like to support. And if you want to take an extra 5 minutes to set up your own personal fundraising page, find one of the groups that speaks most closely to your heart, to the issues that you care about, and you can become a fundraiser. And I know that's kind of a scary thing for a lot of people. I've actually been a professional fundraiser now for like 25 years. And so I'm a little bit begrudging about it. And so if I can do it and make a career out of it, anybody can. And the way that I like to encourage people to become fundraisers is to remind you that there are so many people out there who care and so many people who are looking for some way to make a difference. And if you can speak to the same values and issues that they care about and give them an opportunity to make a difference, that's really awesome. And you're building community, you're building awareness. And the other things you can do if setting up your own fundraising page isn't a fit for you, share out the information on your social media pages. So make sure everyone knows that you're supporting the Big Share and that you have the values of social and environmental justice.
Fantastic. So a good fit for this is if you are a busy person that wants to be involved in your community, make a difference, you can either take the funds yourself and pick a cause that is dear to your heart. And then also something even beyond that, you could make a page that you could do your own fundraising, share with people, say, hey, this is really important to me. I want you to know about it. Or a very simple thing is go to the website and just share it across either with your people on social media and just say, especially if you're local here to Madison, say, get involved in this way.
Absolutely. And the power of the Big Share is the same impact that Community Shares has been having for over 50 years, where we represent all of these nonprofits who are all building their own campaigns in their own communities, their own movements. And together, our minimum donation is $5. And so if $5 is what you can give, you are important and you matter. And if you share that out with your people, maybe a couple more people can give $5. Or you might reach somebody that can give $100 and then you're making an impact. And so that's really the power of the Big Share, is building community and bringing people together to share in, I feel like, the joy of supporting these causes, because there is a lot of joy in that when you have somewhere to put your energy and somewhere to create an impact.
Yes, I love that. When I was in the gym, I was working with somebody and she was telling me about GoFundMe's and how if you put your name on when you give money to a GoFundMe, if let's say it's something local and somebody sees somebody's name on it that they know, they are more likely then to give, which I never used to put my name because I'm like, I don't want people to know what I'm doing. But then I'm like, wait a second. If I put my name and other people are like, oh, she's doing it, I want to join in too. Very similar. If you can show like, hey, this is important to me. The other
Yes.
people who are kind of aligned with you out there that are busy, have things where maybe they financially can give, or they can just share it also.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
So please share. If this is your jam, where this is the way you want to get involved, this is a great opportunity. So Cheri, what brought you into this work and how does this kind of sit with you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, originally, I grew up in a home with violence. And so I grew up believing that seeing that there was not justice and having that drive throughout my career. Today, I am really inspired, and honestly, I'm really motivated and angry in this moment. I feel like the things are taking place that don't reflect my values, and that matters to me. And so working on a project like the Big Share is a way for me to channel that, and a way for me to know that no matter what else is going on in the world, I can still make an impact. And no matter what else, no matter what's going on around us, I can always make the choice to do the right thing for my community, regardless of what else is going on. Some days that's all we can focus on is one little thing that we can do, and that matters, and you matter. And so if you go to thebigshare.org, find a group that you care about and set up a fundraising page.
I love it. Thank you so much. This was wonderful. And if this speaks to you, I would love to see you share it and let us know how you get involved.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Spirit of a Badass is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Alecia Jacobson. Music by Shane Ivers. We'll be back with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep your spirits high and your energy badass.